The night sky above the Montana ranch sparkled with stars just like any other summer evening. But Lisa Brown knew something was different. She felt it in her bones the same way she could sense when a storm was coming. Her father had always said she had a gift for reading the skies. She sat on the porch swing sipping hot tea and watching the horizon. Her long brown hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Work on a ranch never ended, and at 19 she carried more than her share of the burden. Since her parents died, a flash of light caught her attention, bright and fast-moving. Nothing like a shooting star or airplane. It zipped across the sky, then suddenly changed direction. No human aircraft could move like that. Lisa set down her mug and stood heart-pounding as the light grew bigger, brighter. Then suddenly plummeted toward Earth, toward her land. She watched in stunned silence as it disappeared behind the tree line at the edge of her property near the south pasture. The ground shook. With the impact, and a flock of birds erupted from the trees, squawking in alarm. Lisa grabbed her flashlight and first aid kit, acting on instinct rather than rational thought. Whatever just crashed might have people inside, hurt people. She jogged across the field, her boots crunching on the dry summer grass. The air smelled strange, like metal and something sweet, almost like honey but sharper, more alien. Her light bounced through the darkness as she approached the tree linie. A strange glow pulsed among the trees, getting brighter as she got closer. Lisa slowed her pace, suddenly afraid. What if it was something dangerous? Military maybe, or something worse. But what if someone was hurt? What if they needed help? Her parents had raised her to do the right thing even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. She pushed through the underbrush and stopped dead in her tracks. There, in a small clearing, was what could only be described as a spacecraft. But nothing like the rockets or shuttles she had seen on TV. This was sleek, organic, almost alive, with patterns of light flowing across its surface, and beside it, laying crumpled on the ground, was a woman. At least Lisa thought it was a woman. The proportions were almost human. But not quite. Her limbs longer, more graceful. Her fingers had too many joints, and her skin shimmered like opals, catching the moonlight in ways that human skin never could. Shifting through subtle colors with each shallow breath, Lisa approached. Slowly, carefully, the woman, if that was the right word, seemed badly injured. A dark liquid that might have been blood seeped from wounds on her side and leg. She was conscious, her eyes open, and they were the most beautiful things Lisa had ever seen. They reflected the starlight like perfect mirrors, but with depth to them, colors swirling in their blackness. The woman watched Lisa approach. No fear in those star-filled eyes. Just pain and something like curiosity. "Can you understand me?" Lisa asked, kneeling beside the injured woman. "Are you hurt? I mean, obviously you are hurt, but how bad is it? Do you need—" The woman made a sound like wind chimes and water, a language clearly, but nothing Lisa recognized. She tried to sit up, winced, fell. Back the dark liquid flowed faster from her side. Without thinking, Lisa pressed her hand against the wound, applying pressure like her father had taught her for injured animals. The woman gasped, her skin temperature much cooler than a human's would. "But we need to get you help," Lisa said, knowing the woman couldn't understand but feeling the need to explain anyway. "But I can't take you to a hospital, can I? They'd lock you up, dissect you or something." The woman watched her, those incredible eyes, unblinking. A six-fingered hand reached up, touching Lisa's face gently. The touch sent a strange tingling sensation across her skin. Lisa made her decision right then. Whatever this being was, she needed help. And Lisa was the only one around to provide it. If the government or military found out, she knew what would happen. She'd seen enough movies to understand. "You have a place," she said. "My storm cellar. It's not comfortable, but it's private, safe. No one goes there. You can hide while you heal." "Can you walk?" she mimicked. Walking with her fingers, the woman seemed to understand. She nodded, or made a movement close enough to a nod that Lisa took it as agreement. It took nearly an hour to help the injured alien back to the ranch house. The being was tall, almost 7 feet, and though she was light, almost weightless, she was badly hurt. Every step seemed to cause pain. The storm cellar was behind the house, built into the side of a small hill, with a heavy wooden door that Lisa had to struggle to open. Inside was dusty but dry shelves of canned goods lined one wall, and an old cot stood in the corner. Lisa had played down here as a child, using it as a fort or castle depending on her mood. She helped the alien to the cot and went back to the house for supplies. First aid kit, blankets, water, food. though she had no idea what the being might eat or if she ate at all by the time she returned. The alien was sitting up examining the cellar with those star-filled eyes. Over the next days, a routine developed. Lisa tended the ranch during the day, then spent evenings with her strange guest bringing food, water, and medical supplies. The alien ate some fruits and vegetables, but nothing processed. No meat. She drank gallons of water. The wounds were healing at an astonishing rate, and by the end of the first week, the alien was able to move around the small space on her own. She began making sounds that seemed like attempts at English mimicking Lisa's wordson. The 10th day, she spoke her first clear word, water, and Lisa nearly dropped the bucket she was carrying. "You can talk?" She gasped. "I mean, you can speak English. Learn fast." The alien said, her voice musical, inhuman, but the words "clear water, please." That night, the alien told Lisa. Her name was Nara, or as close to it as Lisa could pronounce. She was some kind of diplomat from a world whose name Lisa couldn't begin to wrap her mouth around. Her ship had been attacked by rivals she had barely escaped over the following weeks. Nara's English improved dramatically. She was clearly brilliant, absorbing language like a sponge. Lisa found herself telling Nara everything about her life. Her parents' deaths, running the ranch alone. Her dreams of becoming a veterinarian someday. In turn, Nara tried to explain her world, her people, her mission. Though much was lost in translation, Lisa gathered that Nara was important, possibly royalty. Her mother led their people, and Nara was being trained to take her place someday. They would sit for hours in the evenings, Nara drawing constellations Lisa had never seen, pointing upward with her slender six-fingered hand eyes, reflecting starlight as she spoke of worlds beyond Lisa's imagination. Lisa knew she should be afraid, should tell someone, but who would believe her? And what would they do to Nara if they did? She remembered the stories of Area 51, of government experiments. She couldn't let that happen to her friend. Because somehow, despite the differences, despite the strangeness, Nara had become her friend, perhaps her first real friend since her parents died. Someone who listened, who cared, who saw her. What Lisa didn't realize was how deeply she was changing too. How her view of the universe would never be the same again. How her small life on a Montana ranch had suddenly expanded to include the stars themselves. The day Nara left came without warning. 6 weeks after her arrival, Lisa returned from town with supplies to find the storm cellar empty, only a small crystal pendant left on the cot. It glowed with an inner light when Lisa picked it up, pulsing, gently like a heartbeat. She searched everywhere, called out Nara's name, ran to the clearing where the ship had crashed, but found nothing. No signs, no tracks, no goodbye. She knew then that Nara had somehow repaired her craft or called for help. She was gone. That night, Lisa cried harder than she had since her parents died, feeling a strange emptiness she hadn't expected, clutching the glowing pendant. Her only proof that the entire experience hadn't been a dream. The following days passed in a blur. Lisa went through the motions of ranch work, feeding animals, mending fences, but her heart wasn't in it. Her eyes constantly drawn to the sky, wondering where Nara was, if she was safe, if she ever thought about the human who had helped her. 2 weeks after Nara's disappearance, men in dark suits came to the ranch asking questions about strange lights. Unusual activities Lisa played dumb showed them. Her veterinary textbooks explained the odd chemicals in her barn were for treating animals. Feigned ignorance about anything falling from the sky. They seemed satisfied. But Lisa noticed a black car parked on the road to town. For days afterward, watching, she took to wearing Nara's pendant under her clothes, finding comfort in its soft glow against her skin. It seemed to dim over time, as if its power source was fading, but it never went completely. Dark months passed, then years. Lisa sold the ranch, used the money for veterinary school, became the person she had always wanted to be, specializing in large animals, working at a practice in a small town not far from her old home. She dated occasionally, but the relationships never lasted. There was always something missing. She kept Nara's pendant, wore it always, sometimes in the quiet moments. Late at night, she would hold it up, watching it catch the light, remembering those star-filled eyes and the stories of worlds beyond her imagination. Sometimes she wondered if she had imagined it all. Dreams of an isolated, lonely girl, but the pendant was real, solid proof of something extraordinary. 10 years after Nara's visit, Lisa opened her own practice, bought a small ranch similar to her childhood home. She lived simply quietly, her reputation as a skilled veterinarian growing throughout the county. Animals seemed to trust her instinctively, as if they sensed something different about her. She wondered sometimes if Nara's touch had changed her in subtle ways. 15 years after the visit, Lisa stood in her field one night watching a meteor shower, clutching the pendant which had grown so dim it barely glowed at all. She spoke aloud to the stars. "I hope you're well, Nara. I hope you're queen. Now, I hope you remember me sometimes." 20 years to the day after finding Nara in that clearing, Lisa woke with a start from dreams filled with star-filled eyes and six-fingered hands. The pendant against her chest burned suddenly hot bright. As it had been that first day, she sat up, confused, heart racing. Outside, her bedroom window lights flashed, across the sky moving in patterns no human aircraft could manage. Lisa dressed quickly, hands shaking with excitement and fear. Could it be after all this time? She ran outside into the cool night air, the pendant growing hotter, brighter in her hand. As she moved across the field to the same spot where her journey had begun 2 decades earlier, the lights grew bigger, brighter. Definitely not airplanes. A shape began to materialize above her property. Sleek, organic, pulsing with patterns of light. She recognized instantly, even after 20 years, a ship like nothing human technology could create settled silently onto her land. The exact spot where she had found Nara all those years ago. The pendant now burned against her palm, its light matching the pulsing patterns of the ship. Lisa stood transfixed as a doorway appeared in the side of the craft, smooth and silent. A tall figure emerged, silhouetted against the ship's glow. Even from a distance, Lisa recognized the shimmer of that skin, the graceful movement the stars reflected in those eyes. Nara had returned, but she was different now, adorned in what appeared to be ceremonial armor. Her head held high with authority, her movements confident, powerful. Behind Nara emerged 4 guards, their skin similar but their bearing unmistakably military, hands resting on weapons, unlike anything Lisa had ever seen. She stopped suddenly, uncertain, worried that perhaps Nara had come for revenge for some perceived betrayal. Nara spoke, her voice carrying across the field in perfect English. "Lisa of Earth, I have returned as I promised." Lisa felt tears forming, surprised. "I never thought I'd see you again." Nara approached her guards remaining by the ship. "I am queen now of the 12 systems. My mother has passed beyond the veil and I rule in her place." "What are you doing here?" Lisa asked, barely able to comprehend what was happening. That Nara was actually standing before her again after all these years. Nara took Lisa's hands in her own, the touch sending that same tingling sensation across Lisa's skin that she remembered from long ago. "I have come to repay my debt," she said. "You saved me when I was helpless, hunted. You showed me kindness when I had no right to expect it." Lisa shook her head. "You don't owe me anything. I just did what anyone would do." Nara smiled, an expression she must have learned during her time on Earth. "Few would have done what you did," she said. "Many would have feared me, hated me for my difference, or worse, sought to profit from me. I have not forgotten your courage, your compassion." The guards shifted nervously. One spoke rapidly in their native tongue, a musical language that brought back memories of those nights in the storm cellar. Nara silenced them with a gesture. Behind them, the ship's lights pulsed in patterns that seemed almost like breathing. Lisa realized with a start that it might actually be alive in some way. The technology far beyond her understanding. "Why now?" Lisa asked after 20 years. "Why come back?" Nara's star-filled eyes seemed to darken for a moment like clouds passing over night sky. "Because now I have the power to do so," she said. "Before I was merely a princess in exile. Now I am queen. My word is law among my people, and my word is that Earth shall be contacted, that you, Lisa Brown, shall be honored for what you did." Lisa stared at Nara, trying to reconcile the injured alien she'd hidden in her storm cellar with this powerful queen standing before her, the 2 images overlapping, yet distinct, the same being yet transformed by time and experience much as Lisa herself had been. One of the guards approached, speaking urgently to Nara. She replied sharply, then turned back to Lisa. "We cannot stay long," she explained. "Your world's defense systems will detect us soon. I have come to offer you something." "What could you possibly offer me?" Lisa asked. "A choice," Nara said, her voice solemn. "Serious. I offer you the stars, Lisa Brown. I offer you knowledge and wonders beyond what any human has ever seen. I offer you a place at my side as we forge a new relationship between our worlds. Lisa felt dizzy, the implications overwhelming. You mean you want to take me with you? Nara nodded. I do. For a time you would be the first human to visit our worlds, to see our cities, to learn our ways. You would help us understand your people as we prepare for formal contact. Formal contact? Lisa repeated. You mean like aliens are real government disclosure, that kind of thing? Yes, Nara said, though we prefer the term contact between sovereign species. We are not so different. You and I, different branches of the same cosmic tree. But why me? Lisa asked. I'm just a veterinarian. I don't know anything about diplomacy or first contact. Nara's eyes shimmered. With something like affection, you know. More than you realize. She said. You saw a strange being from the stars and your first instinct was to help, not harm you. Built a bridge between our worlds before you even knew such a thing was possible. Who better to help us build more bridges? The guard spoke again, more urgently this time. Nara sighed. We have little time, Lisa, she said. Our shields can hide us from your satellites for perhaps an hour. No more. I need your answer. But I have a life here. Lisa protested. My practice, my home. I can't just disappear. Nara nodded, understanding. I do not ask you to abandon your life, only to pause it for a time. We can return you to this exact moment if you wish. Time flows differently for us. Lisa's mind reeled at the implications. You can control. Time, not control, Nara corrected. Navigate it is complex to explain in your language. The mathematics alone would require concepts your science has not yet discovered. One of the guards stepped forward, speaking rapidly in their musical language, gesturing at the sky. Nara replied, then turned back to Lisa. Their sensors detect aircraft approaching, military, perhaps drawn by our energy signature, despite our shield. Lisa looked up, but saw nothing yet. How much time do we have? Minutes, Nara said, her expression grave. I had hoped for more time to explain, to convince you. She held out her hand, a small device resting in her palm. It resembled a smooth river stone, but with the same flowing patterns of light as the ship. This will allow us to find you again, she said. If you decide to accept my offer, hold it, think of me, and we will know. Lisa took the device, cool and surprisingly heavy, in her hand. But I don't understand. What exactly would I be doing? Why do you need me specifically? Nara glanced at the sky, then back to Lisa. My people face extinction, she said simply. Our genetic line grows weak with each generation. We need new codes, new patterns. Lisa stared, uncomprehending. You saved a princess. Nara continued. I am now a queen who must ensure her people's survival. I need you, Lisa. Why me? Your kindness, your courage, your genetic pattern is rare among your kind. Perfect for our needs. Our scientists have studied the sample I took before leaving. Lisa touched her arm, remembering the strange mark she had found the day after Nara disappeared. A small puncture wound she had assumed was from helping around the ranch. I need someone I can trust. Nara said, someone who will help us bridge our worlds, save my people, and perhaps bring new strength to humanity as well. I have spent 20 years preparing my people for contact with Earth. I began with the memory of your kindness. Lisa stared at the device in her hand, then at the pendant still glowing against her chest. What exactly are you asking me to do? I need your help to establish diplomatic relations with your world. Nara explained, and I need genetic material from humans like you, not to replace us, but to save us, to create a future where both our kinds might flourish. The sound of helicopter rotors became audible in the distance. The guards moved closer to their queen, clearly uncomfortable with her standing exposed on an alien world. And if I refuse? Lisa asked. Nara smiled sadly. Then I will leave and find another way. I will not force this upon you or your world. I learned honor from you, Lisa. Among other things. Lisa's mind raced through possibilities, consequences. Her quiet life suddenly thrust into cosmic significance. She thought of her parents. What they would say, what they would do. They had raised her to help others whenever possible. You said my genetic pattern. What does that mean exactly? Nara gestured to the pendant around Lisa's neck. It contains a small sample of your DNA collected when we first met. Your pattern is unusual, strong, adaptable, compatible with our own in ways most humans are not. My scientists believe a merging of our genetic codes could save my people from deterioration. Lisa touched the pendant, understanding now why it had always felt so personal. So, connected to her, it had literally contained a part of her all these years. The helicopter sounds grew louder, now visible as distant lights on the horizon. The guard spoke with increasing urgency. "How long would I be gone?" Lisa asked. "Time passes differently. For us," Nara repeated, "perhaps a year of your time. But we would return you whenever you wished. Perhaps even to this same moment, so that no time would pass here at all." Lisa looked around at her ranch, at the life she'd built. It was a good life, but a small one, and the stars had always called to her ever since that night 20 years ago. "What about my animals, my practice? We can ensure they are cared for," Nara said. "Or, as I said, return you to this moment so that for them, you never left." Lisa took a deep breath, feeling her life balancing on a knife edge between the known and the unimaginable. But she had made this choice once before, hadn't she, when she'd carried a wounded alien to safety instead of calling the authorities? The helicopters were closer now, searchlights sweeping the surrounding fields. The guards had drawn their weapons, though they remained pointed at the ground. "I need more time," Lisa said. "This is too sudden, too much." Nara nodded. "Understanding." "Keep the device," she said. "When you are ready, if you are ready, use it. I will hear you no matter where I am, no matter when." With a final touch to Lisa's face, a gesture so reminiscent of their first meeting, Nara turned and walked quickly back to her ship, followed closely by her guards. The doorway sealed behind them, and the craft began to pulse with increasing intensity. Liza stepped back as the ship rose silently into the air, hovering for a moment as if reluctant to leave. Then suddenly it was gone, accelerating at impossible speed, leaving only the memory of light and the weight of the device in Lisa's palm. The helicopters arrived minutes later, men in military uniforms swarming her property, asking questions about unusual lights, aerial phenomena. Lisa played dumb again, years of keeping Nara's secret having made her a skilled liar. After they left, convinced that the local veterinarian had seen nothing more than unusual weather patterns. Lisa sat on her porch, the device in one hand, the pendant in the other. There, lights pulsing in synchronized rhythms, he had a choice to make, the biggest of her life. The following weeks passed in a blur. Lisa went through the motions of normal life, caring for animals, running her practice. But her mind was elsewhere, always on. The device she kept in her pocket, always on the stars. She researched genetic engineering, read about diplomatic protocols, studied astronomy with new intensity, as if preparing, though she told herself she hadn't decided anything yet. At night she would hold the device, watching its gentle pulsing light, sometimes almost speaking to it, almost calling Nara, but always stopping herself. Not yet. Not until she was sure. A month after Nara's visit, Lisa treated a sick horse on a neighboring farm. The animal, near death despite her best efforts. She worked through the night, trying everything she knew, but nothing helped. As dawn approached, she sat beside the dying animal, tears in her eyes. The farmer, Pat, a kind man who had known Lisa since she was a girl, sat beside her. "Sometimes there ain't nothing to be done," he said gently. "Even for the best vet in the county." Lisa nodded, exhausted, frustrated by her limitations, by the boundaries of her knowledge and abilities. She touched the device in her pocket, thinking suddenly, irrationally, that Nara's people might know how to save the horse, might have technologies beyond her imagination. As if sensing her thoughts, the device warmed, pulsed stronger. She pulled her hand away, startled. The horse died an hour later. Lisa drove home in silence, questioning everything. Her life, her choices, her future. What good was she doing here, really saving some animals, losing others, living her small life, when there were worlds beyond worlds out there? Knowledge that could change everything. That night she sat on her porch looking up at the stars, the device and pendant both glowing softly in her hands. What would her parents think? She wondered. They had raised her to help others, to do the right thing, even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard, wouldn't helping an entire species certainly qualify? Wouldn't learning technologies that could benefit humanity be the right thing to do? But what if it was dangerous? What if, despite Nara's assurances, there was some darker purpose to all this? What if she never returned? What if she did return, but to a world that had moved on without her? The weight of the choice pressed down on her. But in her heart, Lisa knew she had already decided. Perhaps she had decided 20 years ago, when she first looked into those star-filled eyes and chose compassion over fear. She raised the device to her lips and whispered, Nara's name. The response was immediate. The device grew hot, vibrating in her palm, the pendant around her neck pulsing in sync, her entire body tingling with energy. Lights appeared in the sky above her property just as they had a month ago, just as they had 20 years before. That the ship descending silently, landing in the same spot. This time when the door opened, Lisa was ready. Backpack in hand containing a few precious mementos, photos of her parents, her veterinary license, her favorite book she had arranged for a colleague to take over her practice, had told friends she was taking a sabbatical traveling the world. Nara stood in the doorway alone this time. Her star-filled eyes bright with what might have been joy. Lisa of Earth, she said. Have you decided? Lisa took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and walked toward the ship, toward the stars, toward a future she could barely imagine. I have, she said, I will help you. The journey began with light, endless light surrounding Lisa as she stepped into Nara's ship colors. She had no names for sensations. She had no context to understand. She felt weightless, timeless, her mind expanding and contracting all at once. Then, darkness and silence. Lisa found herself in a chamber unlike anything she had imagined. Walls that seemed alive with the same flowing patterns of light as the ship furniture, if it could be called that formed and reformed according to needs. She hadn't even expressed yet. Nara stood beside her, those star-filled eyes watching with concern. Are you well? She asked. The transition can be difficult for beings unused to folded space. Lisa swallowed, trying to orient herself. I'm fine, I think, just disoriented. Where our web? Between, Nara said simply, between your world and mine, between moments in time. She gestured and a wall became transparent, revealing a view that stole Lisa's breath. Stars, countless stars, but not as Lisa had ever seen them from Earth. These were close, vibrant, alive, some connected by threads of light that pulsed with energy. The cosmos laid bare in all its impossible beauty. How long? Lisa asked. How long until we reach your world? We are already there, Nara said, and still traveling. It is difficult to explain in your language. The concepts do not translate. We move through what you might call dimensional folds. Lisa nodded, pretending to understand, though she comprehended almost nothing. She was a veterinarian from Montana, not a physicist. What will happen when we arrive? You will be honored. Nara said, the human who saved the queen. You will be studied, though gently, respectfully. You will learn our ways and we yours. You will help us determine the best approach to formal contact with Earth. Studied, Lisa repeated, feeling suddenly nervous. Nara touched her arm reassuringly. Nothing invasive, she promised. We have already learned much from the sample in your pendant. We merely wish to understand how your physiology differs from ours, how your mind processes information, how you perceive reality. Liza nodded again, trying to quell her anxiety. What about the genetic material you mentioned? Your people needing that is a more complex matter. Nara said, one we will discuss in detail when you have settled, should you agree to help in that way. It would involve combining small samples of your genetic material with ours, creating hybrid cell lines that might strengthen our people. Before Lisa could ask more questions, the view outside changed suddenly, stars giving way to a world, a planet unlike anything Lisa had imagined. Oceans of what looked like liquid crystal mountains that floated above the surface, cities that spiraled into the sky. Welcome to Alethea, Nara said. My home. The ship descended through clouds that sparkled like diamonds toward a vast city that seemed to grow from the landscape rather than being built upon it. Structures flowing into one another in organic harmony. Lisa saw other ships similar to Nara's, but larger, smaller, different shapes and functions, all moving in perfect coordination. They landed on a platform extending from a towering spire at what appeared to be the city center. The door opened and Lisa smelled air unlike Earth's, sweeter, thicker, carrying scents she had no references for. Can I breathe here? She asked, suddenly concerned. Nara nodded. We have prepared this city for your arrival. The air has been adjusted to suit your physiology, though you may find it rich at first. Take slow breaths. Lisa did as instructed, stepping out onto alien soil for the first time. Her legs shaky, partly from the journey, partly from the sheer magnitude of what she was experiencing. Beings like Nara awaited them, dozens, perhaps hundreds gathered, in what appeared to be a ceremonial welcome, their skin shimmering with varied colors, their star-filled eyes fixed on Lisa with curiosity, wonder. Perhaps even Awanara spoke in their musical language, then in English to Lisa. I have told them you are to be treated as an honored guest, as the savior of their queen. Some may be curious, even intrusive. Forgive them, they have never seen a human before. Lisa nodded, overwhelmed by the attention, by the alienness of everything around her. The gravity, slightly lighter than Earth's, the air rich and sweet. The colors more vibrant than anything she had experienced before. Even the ground beneath her feet seemed alive, responsive. A smaller being approached, offering what appeared to be a necklace similar to the pendant Lisa still wore, but larger, more elaborate. Nara explained, it is a translator. It will help you understand our language when spoken near you. Lisa accepted it, placing it around her neck immediately. The musical sounds around her began to form patterns, meanings. Though strange and formal, welcome savior of the queen, one being said, their skin a pale blue. Their movements delicate, precise. You honor us with your presence. Thank you. Lisa managed, unsure of the proper protocol. Another approached. Taller than the rest, your coming was foretold, the translator rendered their words, though. Lisa wondered if something was lost in translation. Our queen spoke of your kindness, your courage when others would have shown. Fear. Lisa looked at Nara questioningly. Told my people of you. Nara explained of how you helped me when I was helpless, how you showed me humanity at its finest. You have become something of a legend among us. Legend, Lisa repeated. Astonished, the simple act of helping an injured being had transformed her into something mythic among these advanced aliens. The thought was both flattering and terrifying. The procession moved from the landing platform into the spire itself, corridors that seemed to breathe, rooms that adjusted to their presence, temperature, light, even sounds shifting to create what each being found most comfortable. Lisa was shown to her quarters, a suite of rooms that somehow reminded her of her ranch home, though everything was alien. The colors, the materials, the technology, it felt welcoming, familiar, as if designed specifically from her memories. Because it was, Nara explained, seeing her surprise. We studied the memories I collected during my time with you to create a space that would feel comfortable. You can read memories? Lisa asked, alarmed. Not as you imagine, Nara said. We perceive energy patterns, emotional imprints. She gestured to the rooms. I wanted you to have a sanctuary here, a place that feels of home while you adjust to our world. The following days blurred together for Lisa. Each more astonishing than the last, she learned about Alethian society, their history, their technology, their art. She discovered they were an ancient people, millions of years advanced beyond humanity, masters of genetic, engineering, dimensional physics concepts Earth scientists had not even begun to imagine. But she also learned of their plight, their genetic deterioration over generations of isolation, how they had once been part of a vast coalition of species sharing genetic diversity across worlds until war had isolated them, confined them to their own system, their own genetic codes growing stagnant, weak with each passing generation. Nara's scientists examined Lisa thoroughly but gently as promised, scanning her with technologies that required no physical contact, collecting samples of hair, skin, small vials of blood, always with her consent, always explaining each procedure. She learned their language slowly, the translator helping, but Lisa wanting to understand on her own the musical tones, the subtle harmonics that carried meaning beyond the words themselves. She met with Nara's council, explained human society as best she could, their diversity, their conflicts, their potential, tried to help them understand how best to approach formal contact. The likely reactions, the fears, the hopes, and in quiet moments she sat with Nara, no longer just queen and human savior, but friends across an impossible divide, sharing stories, memories, hopes for their peoples. After 3 months by Lisa's count, though time felt different here, fluid, changeable, Nara invited her to a private chamber deep within the royal complex. What I show you now, Nara said, is our most guarded secret, the reason I brought you here, the core of our struggles. He led Lisa through security measures beyond imagining, doors that responded to thought, energy fields that analyzed soul patterns, finally into a vast chamber where thousands of crystalline pods pulsed with gentle light. Our children, Nara said, her voice soft, reverent. Lisa approached one pod within. It floated what appeared to be a child, though clearly Alethian, the proportions, the shimmering skin. But something was wrong. The form incomplete, fragile, generation by generation. Nara explained, our children grow weaker. More of them fail to develop properly, many die before birth. Others live brief, painful lives. Our scientists have tried everything: genetic manipulation, environmental adjustments. Nothing works. Why, Lisa asked, her heart aching at the sight of so many struggling children. Isolation, Nara said. We evolved to share, to exchange, to blend our genetic patterns with compatible species. When the wars cut us off from the coalition, we were condemned to a slow extinction. And you think human DNA could help? Not just any human, Nara said. Yours specifically. Something in your genetic structure resonates with ours in ways our scientists cannot fully explain but can demonstrate. She led Lisa to another section where pods contained cellular structures, microscopic views of DNA strands. One clearly human, one Alathian. When combined, Nara indicated a third view where the strands had merged, creating something new, something vibrant. Even Lisa, with her limited scientific knowledge, could see the difference, the strength, the stability. You want to create hybrids, Lisa said, understanding now. Not replacement. Nara corrected, never that, but supplementation. Diversity, new patterns that might save us from extinction. She touched Lisa's arm gently. I would not ask this of you if there were any other way. 6 months passed on Alethea, though Lisa knew that on Earth perhaps no time had passed at all, according to Nara. She made her decision, allowing the Alethean scientists to use her genetic material in their work, watching with wonder as the first combined cells began to grow strong, vibrant, alive in ways pure Alethean cells had not been for generations. During this time, she also worked with Nara's diplomatic corps, helping them understand humanity, preparing for formal contact, she explained. Human fears, human hopes, human history. The likely reactions to the revelation that they were not alone in the universe. Some on Nara's council urged caution, even secrecy, arguing that humanity was too volatile, too unpredictable, too violent to be trusted. With the knowledge of Alethea's existence, Lisa found herself defending her species, pointing to their capacity for growth, for change, for compassion, even while acknowledging their flaws. Why do you think I trusted this human, Nara would say, silencing the doubters when I was injured, helpless. She showed kindness when fear would have been more natural, courage when cowardice would have been more sensible. Humanity is young, yes, imperfect, yes, but capable of greatness. A year passed, then two. Lisa learning more about Alethean society than any human could have imagined. She studied their medicine, their physics, their art, their philosophy, incorporating what she could into the diplomatic proposals, always thinking of how this knowledge might benefit Earth, what wonders might be shared, what dangers avoided. She thought of home, sometimes of her ranch, her practice, her quiet life. It seemed distant now, almost like a dream compared to the reality of Alethea. Its crystalline cities, its floating mountains, its people with their star-filled eyes and musical language. She had friends here now, beings who valued her, not just for her genetic material but for herself, her perspective, her humanity in the research facilities. The first successful embryos were developing beyond any stage previously achieved in generations, their growth strong, their patterns stable. Hope spread through Alethean society as news of the breakthrough reached the public on the night of what Lisa calculated as her 3rd anniversary. On Alethea, Nara invited her to a private garden, a place of impossible beauty where plants responded to thought and emotion, shifting colors, forms, scents according to the observer's needs. The time approaches, Nara said as they walked among flowers that sang softly in harmony with their footsteps for formal contact with Earth. Our ships are ready. Our diplomats trained your work here. Your gift to us has saved my people. Lisa of Earth, Lisa smiled, touching one of the singing flowers, watching. It changed color in response. She had grown comfortable with the alienness of Alethea, had even come to love it. But something in Nara's tone caught her attention. You sound sad, she said. Nara turned those star-filled eyes toward her. The diplomats will make first contact in what your people call the United Nations, a formal introduction between sovereign species. Thanks to your guidance, we know how to approach your leaders, how to ease fears, how to offer knowledge without overwhelming. Lisa nodded, still sensing something left unsaid. You must decide. Nara continued, whether you wish to return with them. Lisa stared, confused. I thought that was the plan, for me to help with the transition, to be part of the delegation. Nara gestured, and the garden, Shifted, revealing a view of Earth blue and beautiful from space. You have given us more than we could have hoped for, she said. Your genetic gift, your cultural insights, your friendship, you have fulfilled every promise, kept every commitment you owe. Us nothing more. I don't understand, Lisa said. You have a choice. Nara explained simply. You may return to Earth, resume your life there with our gratitude, our friendship, our support, or Lisa prompted, or you may stay here with us. Nara said. Continue your work, continue learning, continue helping us understand your world while making this one. Your home. Lisa hadn't expected this possibility, had always assumed she would return to Earth once the diplomatic mission was complete. The thought of staying permanently on Alethea was both thrilling and terrifying. But my life there, she said, my practice, my home all preserved. Nara assured her, we can return you to the exact moment you left. Nothing would be lost, or she hesitated. You could return as part of the diplomatic delegation, publicly acknowledged as the first human to make contact with our species, honored by both worlds. Either way, Nara's voice softened. The choice is yours, Lisa. Of Earth, you have earned the right to decide your own path. Lisa walked to the edge of the garden, looking out at the view of Earth, so small from this distance, yet containing everything she had ever known before. Nara, what about the children? She asked. The ones with my genetic material. They flourish. Nara said. The first generation grows strong, healthy. They will reach maturity in what your people would call 20 years. They will know of you. The human who saved their queen, who saved their species. They will honor your name for generations to come. Lisa felt tears forming. What about my purpose here if I stay? What would I do? Whatever you wish. Nara said. Continue your studies of our medicine. Perhaps share your knowledge of Earth creatures. Help us understand the biology of your world, or pursue new interests. New knowledge. The choice would be yours. And if I return to Earth, you would be our honored ambassador. Nara said. A bridge between worlds when you wish to be, and a private citizen. When you do not, you would have access to certain of our technologies, medical knowledge to help in your work as a healer of animals. Lisa considered the possibilities, weighed them in her mind. Her small life on Earth against the wonders of Alethea. Her familiar routine against endless discovery. Her solitude there against the connections she had formed here. 3 days later, the Alethean diplomatic fleet prepared to depart for Earth. Hundreds of ships carrying representatives from every province of their world, along with gifts of knowledge, technology, art. The culmination of years of preparation, guided by Lisa's insights. She stood on the observation deck, watching the final preparations, Nara beside her. Have you decided? The Queen asked. Lisa nodded. I have. The journey back through folded space was as disorienting as the first-time colors. Lisa had no names for sensations beyond human experience. Then darkness, then light as the ships emerged in Earth orbit, carefully shielded from detection until the proper moment. The diplomatic plan proceeded exactly as Lisa had helped design it. First contact made through secure channels with the United Nations Security Council. Careful, controlled revelation to prevent panic, to demonstrate peaceful intentions. Ships appearing simultaneously over major cities around the world, a show of technology but not of force. Humanity reacted with the full spectrum of emotions Lisa had predicted. Fear, wonder, suspicion, hope, chaos and celebration, religious crisis and scientific exultation. The full complexity of human response to the revelation that they were not alone in the universe. On the third day after first contact, the main diplomatic ship descended to the United Nations headquarters in New York. A historic moment broadcasted to billions around the world. Nara emerged, first resplendent in ceremonial armor, her star-filled eyes and shimmering skin causing audible gasps from the assembled dignitaries. Behind her came her council, her scientists, her diplomats, and then a final figure who caused even greater shock. A human woman dressed in a blend of Earth and Alathian fashion. Nara spoke, her voice translated through devices provided to each representative. I am Nara, Queen of the 12 systems of Alethea. I come in peace, in friendship, in hope of alliance between our peoples, but I do not come alone. She gestured to the human woman beside her. 25 years ago, I was injured, stranded on your world. This human Lisa Brown found me, helped me, saved me when she had every reason to fear me. She showed the best of humanity, compassion, courage, kindness 3 years ago. By your counting, she agreed to come to my world to help us understand yours, to prepare for this moment. She is the bridge between our peoples. The first human ambassador to the stars. The room erupted in chaos. Questions, exclamations, disbelief. Lisa stepped forward, raising her hands for quiet. Her years on Alethea had given her a presence, a confidence she had never possessed as a simple veterinarian from Montana. I was 19 when I found Nara injured in a field behind my ranch, she said, her voice steady, clear. I did what anyone would have done. I helped her, I hid her. I became her friend when she returned years later, offering me the stars. I accepted that gifts. He looked out at the assembled representatives of humanity, at the cameras broadcasting her words to billions. People would have questions, doubts, fears. She knew that she had prepared for it, had helped design the protocols for this very moment. I have seen wonders. Beyond imagination, she continued, learned medicine that can save lives, technologies that can heal our world, art that can inspire generations. I have helped build this bridge between our peoples, and now I invite you to cross it with me. In the crowd, a reporter called out, "Are you human?" A question that rippled through the assembly. Lisa smiled, touching the pendant she still wore around her neck. "I am human," she said. "Born on Earth, raised in Montana, I remain human. But I am also the first citizen of two worlds, proof that we can reach across the stars and find not enemies but friends, not conquerors but partners." She turned, looking at Nara, at the Aletheans who had become her friends, her colleagues over the past 3 years, being so different, yet in fundamental ways so similar.